Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome again to this wonderful gathering, the Business Forum gathering, I call it. I hope we've all had our breakfast. If you haven't eaten anything, just wave your hand. If you have not eaten anything at all, I'm not saying if you have not eaten the second time or the third. All right, so thank you very much for turning up this morning. We apologize for the African time. May God deliver us from African time. That's what we're getting there. We're getting there. We'll first of all get to the European time, then the British time. We'll get there. All right, so I'm sure other people will still come. I think people are just taking their time because it's a special bank holiday. That's what I want to believe, because we've invited a lot of people, and I'm hoping that even half of them, when they show up, this place will not contain us. So we hope and pray that they come on time. Again, we don't want to waste our time. We're starting now, but before we go into the conference itself, we want to do something very quickly, okay? We call it the Icebreaker. If you look around, if you identify at least one person you do not know, you've never met before, raise up your hand. One person in this place you've never met before. Raise up your hand. Okay. I can see some hands. Do you know me? You've met me? I'm popular. I know. I'm shy. Okay. All right. So you've seen somebody you do not know before. What you will do is this. In the next 3 minutes, meet somebody you've never met before today, okay? Go and meet that person in 3 minutes and get to know everything and anything you want to know about that person. So if you have never met anybody before, stand to your feet. All those who raise your hands, stand to your feet. So go and meet the person you do not know. Miss French, stand up to your feet and go and meet somebody you do not know. Quickly. 3 minutes. Go and meet somebody you do not know. Ask the person everything you can ask for. Get to know the person, everything at all. If you want to ask for the dates of birth, you can go ahead. How much they have in their bank account. How much they want to give you. All of it. Okay. Get to know 5 things you both have in common. Get to know 5 things you both have in common. Not 1, not 2, not 4, but 5 things you have in common with that person. Get to know 5 things you have in common with that person. Yes, 5. I hope you are counting. 5 things you have in common with that person. Okay, 2 minutes time, 2 minutes more. Make sure you get to know 5 things you both have in common.
worked at the same hospital, practically in the same field. We like our work because it's less stress and more money. I'm not so sure. I got managed with 3. Oh, same height. And we love the same clothes.
All right, so spell her name backwards.
Ysiad.
Good. That's a good one. That's a good one. David, who did you meet?
I met Joshua.
Joshua.
Yeah.
All right.
Joshua's there. Joshua's from South Africa.
From South Africa.
I'm from South Africa too.
You're from South Africa.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm from North Africa.
Joshua plays football.
All right.
And I play football.
So that's one thing you have in common?
No, we're both from South Africa.
Both from South Africa, okay.
And then he's studying.
All right.
Yeah.
Are you studying as well?
I'm studying as well. Every day's a school day.
Oh, really? That's a fun
Hang on now. What else did we discuss? Oh, yes. We may both be going to London on Thursday to attend it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going. He may come.
Okay. What's the fifth one you have in common?
We like football.
You like football? Well, that's a good one. Who else did you meet?
Miriam.
Miriam.
Yeah.
So 2 things you have in common with Miriam.
We both speak French.
Je m'appelle Bobby. I speak French. 12th century French, actually.
You speak French better than me.
Well, don't ask me to say another thing.
What else did we discuss? We discussed the opportunities of DRC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And we want to train young people.
What's her name?
Miriam.
Miriam. Spell Miriam backwards.
M-A.
Here's a fast one. Put your hands together for David, please. Who else? Who else? Who didn't meet anybody? Who did you meet? Yeah.
I can't remember the name.
You can't remember her name?
No. Yeah, I'm Mason, and
of course I know.
yeah, I know you as well.
So what's her name?
Hey,
A?
what you say?
B?
C?
What's her name?
I can't remember. Yeah.
So what 5 things do you have in common with her?
She works in a hospital and I don't.
No, you have in common.
Nothing.
Nothing?
No.
Did you find out? You tried to find out the 5 things you have in common.
5 things we have in common-ish is we both kind of work-ish. I have like a side-ish job.
Okay.
So I work there and also studying for IT engineering.
Okay.
And she's working in the hospital, which is really good. No, obviously not.
Would you like to work in the hospital?
Yeah. I wanted to be a bone doctor. But,
bone doctor?
Yeah.
I'm going to move away from you now. So, no, I've met you. Who else met someone? Of all the people you met, nobody met me. Did you meet me? When? I don't know you. I mean, I know a lot of people know me because, I'm a superstar. Sorry, I'm a mega star. So, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. All right, so that was a good one. Hopefully, we should get to meet each other better again. Now, we don't want to waste time. I want to quickly call on Huguette. I call her the Presidente because she's actually Presidente, yeah? To give us a quick and a brief intro of what Hands of Hope is all about. Can we put our hands together for Sister Huguette Presidente? She looks presidential, right? Good.
Good morning, everybody, and I just want to thank you for making your way up. I know it's early in the morning, but hello, it's a summertime. And for those who are still coming, making their way up, please do so. I just want once again to say thank you for you being part of this journey and coming, making yourself down here. So who we are currently, we are Hands of Hope. We call Hands of Hope. and we are a registered charity under the Treasure International. So who are hosting this event today? Come on, let's give us the round of applause, please. And that's what we are, and our mission statement, what we do, we're just supporting the vulnerable in the community. So if you have time, please visit our website. We support vulnerable people around, not just vulnerable. If you are in a need, we support not just in this, but in the whole Manchester as a whole. And our next is skill development. We do a lot of skill development, and this is part of it. So to empower upcoming future entrepreneurs, because that's why we're heading to our youth as well. We have a lot of activities. We got skills, programs that we run just to empower our people, young, teenage, young adults, and why not senior citizen as well. You're never too old. And we do a lot of community building as well, indoor, outdoor. We do a lot of, we do the well-being fitness session for all ages. And we also, of course, do look after our environmental. So we want to be, we want to look after it to conserve our environment in which we operate. So we believe with this session that we're going on, we'll change that image that we have of Salford, and there will be more entrepreneurs upcoming or future that are already, existing entrepreneur, also to give them a insight, okay? Because you're never late to know where to invest or where to put your eggs on. So that's what we are. So for more information, please visit our websites. You'll find everything is there. And then if you want to donate as well for this great course, I believe you all enjoyed the breakfast this morning. Please do donate also online. We have everything there on our website. The contact details are there. Everything are there. Tell us what you want to see more. If you want to use us or if you want to partner also with us, please feel free to contact me. So I just want to thank you and use this opportunity. I think it's a really great opportunity to have all those panel speakers this morning for us. And I just once more want to thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Huguette. Without wasting time, I want to call on Patrick to introduce to us all the panelists so that we get to know them before we bring them on board. So, Patrick, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. So I would like to introduce the panelists among us this morning. So the first panelist is Mr. Larry. He's a digital marketing expert. So he's going to give a session about digital marketing. And the second panelist is my dear friend and sister, Rehema, Miss Rehema. So she's going to talk about how we can all become property owners in UK, hopefully. And my last panel is my dear business partner and friend and brother and coach, Mr. David Smith, the chairman of British African Business Alliance. So he's going to talk you more about the network. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. Not wasting time at all because of the African time we've had. I'd like to bring on our very good brother, Lanre, to speak to us about digital marketing. And the truth about digital marketing is that is where the world is going to now. So even though you don't go to school to learn digital marketing, let's understand at least the basics here, because we need this information and this skill to thrive in the newest world we live in. So put your hands together for Mr. Larry, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everyone. Good morning. It's good to be here. And I also count it a privilege to be able to share part of my experience and knowledge with everyone here this morning. And if we know what is going on in the world, we know it's it's a time that we can't really do business without marketing, like digital marketing. You know, if there's one lesson that the pandemic has taught business people, it's that you have to be digital. Because right after, just immediately the pandemic struck and there was lockdown, a lot of small businesses were scrambling to get themselves online because they were just used to the brick and mortar style of business. So a lot of people started taking their business online, and that was when we started one of my business, which is the one I'm presenting under that platform. That's what I'm using to present today. So we started a digital marketing company in Nigeria to help small businesses undergo digital transformation. So we have a lot of people who do businesses, but they just do word of mouth. They do traditional marketing and all of that. Some of them do a bit of digital marketing, but there's no strategy around it. But as a business person, one of the things you should arm yourself with is a strategy. Because when you have a strategy, it means that if you start your business and you run alone, but you have strategies, by the time you start bringing people into your business, they are able to key into the vision you have for your business. They are able to key into those visions because you have a strategy document and you are able to relate your vision to them. You have your vision written down and they can easily align to that vision. If you also have a strategy, it means that if someone is leaving your business, then someone else who is coming in can go through the strategy document and hit the ground running straight away. So that is why it is very, very important as business owners for us to have a marketing strategy. And, you know, digital marketing has really created a level playing field for small businesses and big businesses alike because we all have access to the same platform. We have access to Facebook. We have access to Instagram. We have access to LinkedIn. So we have access to all of this platform. So the only thing is, how effective is your strategy? How are you approaching marketing on these platforms? I'm going to be going through all of this. This is not like a class where I'm going to teach you how to do it, like nitty-gritty, how to do this, but I'm just going to just pick on all of this because this is what you need to create your strategy. And this is like a teaser to what we are going to have in our digital marketing class because we're having a class which is going to run for 12 weeks, right? Sister, you get? It's going to run for 10 or 12 weeks. And in that class, we are going to be breaking down how people can really do this stuff themselves because this is what people pay agencies thousands of pounds every month to do for them. I currently work with a digital marketing company based in London. I work from home. And we have clients, our starter package is like £3,000. So if you are doing it for yourself, it means that you're saving yourself money, of course. If you're making that money and you can spend it on outsourcing that to an agency, it's also a good one, you know. So, but you have to build your business to that point before you can say you want to start outsourcing parts of your business to other people. So I'm just going to go straight into it because I don't want to use too much time because we have other speakers lined up. So I'm just going to say a bit about myself. So I used to live in the UK, then I moved back to Nigeria. I started 2 businesses. Then I came back to the UK. The 2 businesses are still very much running in Nigeria. I have people working there. And we have a content agency that deals with photography and videography. We work with businesses to create business profile videos, to do headshot photography, and anything that relates to creating content around visual and still images. And we also have a digital marketing agencies that help small businesses and medium-sized businesses to do websites, to create digital marketing strategies, and to also help them with digital marketing for their business. And here in the UK, I work as a digital marketing strategist and an account manager with a digital marketing agency called Starter, based in London. So the agenda I have for this program is, Abby, can you move to so that they can follow on, please? So I've already introduced digital marketing, and I'm going to speak about what digital marketing is, what it is not, digital marketing channels you can start leveraging on, digital marketing platforms, formulating your own digital marketing strategy, digital marketing conversion funnels, content creation, strategy and tactics to adopt right now for immediate results, how to accelerate growth, the growth of your business, and what you can do next. So what is digital marketing? Digital marketing is leveraging on social platforms and digital channels to promote your business. That is what digital marketing is. Just leveraging on those channels, because this is like new media. The traditional media like TV, radio, newspaper. But people are moving away from that. Not completely. The big players are still leveraging on that, and they are getting significant amount of traction on those platforms. But as small business owners, you are not able to compete on that level. So the leverage that you have is digital marketing, because the total cost that you need to start is zero. Because we all have a mobile phone, we all have a laptop. Some people don't have a laptop, but if you have a mobile phone, then you can start digital marketing right away. Just create a Facebook page, an Instagram account, and you can start putting out your business there. But that being said, you need to have a strategy, and that is why we are here. So digital marketing is not traditional marketing. So what are the digital marketing channels that we have? So channels are different from platforms. Channels are different avenues. Like it could be email, it could be social media, it could be search engine marketing, it could be public relations. Public relations are also digital, because some companies right now, when they want to do public relations, they just reach out to digital PR agencies and they give them content and they spread content about those companies, and they have backlinks back to their company website. So that is digital PR. So those are channels that people also use. Influencer marketing, very massive. People have 10,000 followers on Instagram. People have 100,000 followers. We have micro influencers. We have mega influencers. We have different levels of influencers. And that is one channel that some people also leverage for their businesses. We have websites, we have text messaging. Some business still leverage on text messaging, and it is working for them. There's a way you link text messages to your automation platforms that you automatically send messages to people. I know you will have received such messages from probably registering from companies, and you just get like a text message reminder. It's not somebody that's sitting behind those phone to send you messages. Systems are sending those messages to you. So people still leverage on these platforms to send messages to people and to get across to their audience. We have surveys. So if you want to start a new business, you can collect data, you can collect survey, you can do a survey from your current existing buyers or from people who you think would be your customers. So you can leverage on those channels to collect initial data before you can know how to design your product for your market. So these are the different channels that we have: video marketing, podcasting, social media advertising, which is different from social media engagement and management. Is different. So there is social media engagement, which is just posting normally and all of that, and there is social media advertising, which is paying for reach on those platforms. And if you're a business owner and you have pages or channels on, platforms on, you have your pages on those platforms, it is advisable that you put a certain amount of money every month towards promoting your page, because by default, those platforms restrict your traffic from getting to your audience. They want you to pay because they know you are trying to make money from those platforms, so they expect you to put money in those platforms to reach your audience. So let's talk about digital marketing platforms. So for digital marketing platforms, I've divided it into 4. So we have the email platforms, which is like platforms that enables you to send automatic emails to your audience. So we have Mailchimp. Mailchimp, most of the ones I'm going to mention, they have the free tier, which enables you to send up to 12,000 messages a month. That's emails in a month, and it allows you to have up to 2,000 contacts within your account, and you can use that for free. You can send. There are ways you can set it up that you can, if you have a CRM that you use, you can set it up that when you register somebody on your CRM, it automatically sends a welcome message to them. So these are things that you can, because when you are a small business, sometimes you need to appear big, and these are some of the things that you can adopt that will allow you to, number one, be more efficient, and number two, to reach more audience, and number three, to project yourself as an efficient company. So we have Aweber, we have Sendinblue, we have SendFox, we have SendPulse. We have different, I just listed these five providers. There are a lot of them. If you just Google email service providers, you would find them. For social media platforms, we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have Twitter, we have LinkedIn, and we have Pinterest. We have so many more of them, but I've just listed these ones. Can someone tell me the one that they are currently using for their business? You're using Instagram? You're using Facebook and LinkedIn. So I would suggest you do more of B2B. Yeah, LinkedIn is for B2B. Pastor Daisy, what do you use for your business? TikTok, WhatsApp. Yeah, WhatsApp is also a social platform because it depends on how you use it. People get traction. Even I myself, when I post on my WhatsApp status, I always get inquiry. I don't post very often like I used to post when I was in Nigeria. But anytime I post now, I get like 1 or 2 inquiries for business. So it's a very good platform to leverage on. We have SEO marketing. Of course, that is some advanced level digital marketing. SEO is search engine optimization. It means that when you have a website, you have enough content on those websites so that when somebody is searching for solution, when they search for example, if you are a doctor, no, let me not use doctor. If you sell fabrics, like someone has fabrics displayed there. So if you want to check that out later on, you can always check it out. So if you sell fabrics and you have a website, you're based in the UK, and you have content on your website that talks about African print, African fabrics, styles you can make and all of that. So if you do search engine optimization, it means that you're optimizing your website so that when Google is looking for information relating to fabrics, African print in the UK, your website is going to be positioned to show on the first page of Google. It's called search engine optimization. So a lot of businesses spend millions of pounds to get on the front page, depending on how competitive the niche they are operating in, like insurance companies, banks, the big supermarkets, the pharmacy companies, the pharmaceutical companies. Some of these massive companies that we don't even know that they exist. There are some companies that you don't even know they are existing, but they are everywhere. They are in every business. They have massive budget that they spend on digital marketing. And SEO is one of the top one that they invest in. And that is what we do for most of our customers also. It's called inbound strategy. You wait for people to come to you. You don't go after people. You provide value ahead. So that is the inbound strategy. You provide value ahead. You tell people how to, sometimes you go online. When you have any symptom, you just go online. You Google how to do this, how to do that. Somebody is positioning themselves to provide that answer to you so that if you really want to spend on that solution, they are the first point of call. Sometimes you're looking for PDFs on how to sort one problem or the other. Some people are providing those PDFs to you for free. What they are doing is they are positioning themselves as an authority in those domains so that when you're looking for solutions, you can easily reach out to them for those solutions. Your digital marketing strategy. So there's something we call customer journey. So customer journey is how you design the first point a customer reach, the first point of contact in your business that the customer gets to the point of them buying from you. So what is your customer journey? You need to define your customer journey in your digital marketing strategy. So it could be that somebody reached out to you on Facebook. Somebody sees your I'm going to use Pastor Daisy's business as an example. So she posts on her WhatsApp page. So the customer journey for her could be somebody checks her WhatsApp status. The person reached out to her to say, oh, how much is this item and all of that. They agree. The person pays. She ships to the person. But it doesn't end there. She needs to ask for review. Because when she asks for review, the person is going to record a testimonial or write a testimonial for her, send it to her. That testimonial is a content that she can use to sell more products tomorrow. So that is a customer journey. If you want to look at it from a service point of view, somebody wants to have an event. So they are typing how to host an event in the UK, for example. You are positioned there on Google. They find your article. At the end of the article, you've said, if you need help with planning and all of that, book a free consultation. So the customer journey is, they come on your website, they book a free consultation, you do a 30-minute consultation with them, you try to close them. If you close them, fine, they make payments, you start planning their event. The event come, you do the event. After the event, you get your testimonial. So you have to design what the experience is going to be for your customer. Because if you don't define this experience, then you can't really tell what your customer is going to feel. So you have to design their journey within your system. You have to be very intentional because you have to put yourself in the position of that customer, because if they don't have a pleasant experience with your business, they are not, number one, they are not going to turn to evangelists for your business. And number two, they are not going to give you reviews. And in this part of the world, reviews are very important, because if somebody tells, we do businesses, right? If somebody tells somebody about your business, they don't ask you about proposals. They just tell you, oh, I need to get this done, and you get it done. It's very easy to do business that way. Unlike when somebody finds you, then you need to build trust, you need to build authority before they can decide to buy from you or buy from someone else, because they are going to be shopping around. But if I call Pastor and I say, Pastor, please, I need a lawyer, and Pastor recommends a lawyer, I don't need to go to the lawyer's website to read about them or to find out, because Pastor is recommending the lawyer to me, I trust that lawyer, the same trust I have for Pastor. So that is why it is important to design your customer journey in a way that they are willing to give you a testimony after you've offered them a service. So it is very important. That has to be designed into your customer journey. So, the next is your marketing conversion funnel. So, please let me know how many minutes I have left so I can, how many? 5. Wow. It means that we can't go through all of this because I have a lot, but I'm going to explain this one. If this is the only thing that you get from this meeting, I think it's done as well. Right. So in your marketing conversion funnel, we have different phases of. So it's like this. When you take people through a funnel in marketing, you can have 1,000 people at the top of the funnel, and you can have only 10 at the bottom of the funnel. But it doesn't matter. But you need to make sure that at every point in time, you are able to get your message to 1,000 people so that you can get 10 people out of that funnel. That is how to design your conversion funnel. So you need to position your business in a way that you have a channel where you are constantly reaching out to people. You are constantly reaching out to leads. We call them leads in marketing. You are constantly reaching out to them so that some people is not that much. The conversion rate is much higher, depending on the kind of business you're doing. So because what I'm talking about, if you have 1,000 people coming in and 10 people converting, so that's your conversion rate. So you have to work out the percentage. I can't really work that out right now. I think that's about 0.1% if you have 10 out of 1,000. But it's not bad. You just need to show your advert to 1,000 more people so that you can get. So if you know that your business needs 20 customers to to survive every month, then you need to ensure that you are getting your message across to 2,000 people every month so that you get 20 of them to convert you. It's not very difficult. So I always wonder why some businesses don't have constant customers. It's because they don't understand what their conversion rates are. So if you know that you need 20 customers every month, that means you need to advertise to 2,000 customers every month if that is your conversion rate. Some people have a much higher conversion rate and some people have a much lower conversion rate. If you are selling high-ticket products, then of course your conversion rate is going to be much lower because people might not have that purchasing power for the product. But if you sell low-ticket products, then your conversion rate should be more higher. You could have like up to 5% conversion rate. So I'm just going to go through the funnel straight. So at the top of the funnel is awareness. So this is where you reach out to people. You can provide content. You can provide different free stuff to people. Then at the attraction stage, there must be something about that free stuff you're giving that is going to attract them to be kind enough to give you their email address. Because when you have the email address, you can now put that into an automation system that nurtures that lead. So we call them a lead at that point, at the point where they become attracted to your business. So for example, if I'm selling digital marketing services and I'm speaking at an event like this, that is more like an awareness stage or an attraction stage. So if you feel like the service is needed, that is when I'm able to say, for example, if I'm providing this service and I can say, okay, for you to access this content, you need to provide your name and your email. So if I have your email, I don't need to advertise to reach you anymore because I've advertised at the awareness stage and now I have your email at the attraction stage. I can start emailing you about content, giving you more value and more value so that is what we call the nurturing stage. That's the point where you provide more value to people. You nurture them, give them more value, you give them more value, and at that point you are building authority and trust. So that person might not be willing to buy at that time, but probably 6 months down the line, 9 months down the line, they have money to buy that service, and the first person that comes to their mind is you. Because why? You've provided value along the line. They've already trusted you to be an authority within that space. And the last stage is convert. So that is when you sell. And you need to have a process for selling. That is where the customer journey comes in. You need to have a process where you sell so that the experience of selling would mean that they can, because at the very bottom of the funnel, Abby, go to the next slide, please, sorry. So at the very bottom where we have retain and repeat. So you retain your customer and you repeat that transaction, you repeat that process with them. So that is the very bottom of the funnel. But we have the 4 important ones are the awareness, attraction, nurturing, and conversion. The conversion is where sales happen. I'm just going to skip a couple of slides, and I'm going to go to the last slide so that you can get more value with this. If you want the slide, I'm very happy to send the slide to you so that you can go through it. So the advice I'm going to give is stick to one channel first, because we have a lot of noise going on social media. You have Twitter. I myself, I work on these platforms, but I don't go there. We have softwares that we use to just send what we want to send there for marketing purpose. Because sometimes I go on Instagram and I get that first video, I start scrolling 30 minutes before I get myself, I'm not supposed to be doing this. So if you are going there for business, you can't just go there and waste time. You have to be very tactical about how you go on these platforms, because they are designed by, if you know how much Google and the rest of them are paying to make this platform addictive to people, and that is how they make money. So you need to start with one channel, master that channel, start generating leads from that channel before you start expanding to other channels. If you are trying to do everything at the same time, you might not get results. So you can look at the one that is good for your business. If you are in retail, you're selling fashion items, fabrics, Instagram, TikTok, superb. You get young people they have their demographic there. The demography of probably from 18 to 30, they are more on Instagram. If you are selling stuff that relates to a much younger adult, probably like between 25 and 40 and above, Facebook is the best platform. If you are providing a B2B service, LinkedIn is the best platform for you. So if you are selling services to businesses, then LinkedIn is the best platform to leverage on. If you are selling service to sophisticated young people or middle-aged people, Twitter is the best platform because, and if you want to break news, it's a very fast-paced and fast. I'm on Twitter, but I'm not very active there because it moves very fast. So you need to study this platform and know what is right for your business. But the idea is stick to one channel first, keep it simple, be consistent. Like when you start doing if you adopt any of those platforms, you have to be very consistent so that people would know you. There are times I go to a particular influencer's page to just go and see if they've posted something new because they're always showing up. So if you get to that point where you are very consistent on those platforms, people will come there to look for you. People will say, there's somebody on Instagram that is doing this, that is doing that. They will recommend you because they know that you always show up. It's more like you having a shop and you are open today, you are not open tomorrow. If you have a corner shop around your street and you know when you don't get the milk from the supermarket, you know that when I get to the corner shop by 10 o'clock, I would find milk. But if you go there today, there's no milk. If you go there tomorrow, there's no milk. You always ensure that you buy your milk from the supermarket because you know the corner shop is not reliable. So you have to show up every time on this platform. I'm going to end it here. If we have questions. Right.
Can we put our hands together for Brother Larry? That was very deep. That was very educative. I wish we had more time and everything. You can come in, sir. And I wish we had more time, but I'm sure we can, create it in the sense that if you need the slides are available. We would get the slide across to you. Digital marketing is very key. That is the future. That is the future. Marketing itself is awesome. I know I was a marketer, not digital, but years ago. And what I just tell people, how many of us know that Coca-Cola is one of the biggest brands we have globally? Why do you think they still advertise every day? Everybody knows about Coca-Cola, right? But they still advertise every day. Because they want to put it in your mind that you can't do without Coke. Do you understand? We all know what Coke. They don't need to advertise, but they spend millions of dollars annually, if not billions, for adverts alone. That's to put it in the people's minds about Coke. So in certain areas of the world, people just go to places and say, I want to buy Coke. No, the orange one. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's a household name now. And that's what happens to all these big brands. It's very, very key. The questions, if you have questions, please note your questions. We want to take the questions after the three panelists have spoken. I think it's going to be better that way because there might be a lot of questions in between and it might, delay and overflow. So we will take questions afterwards. I'm sure we'll have questions, but please let's put them together till afterwards. Thank you, sir. That sound was good. I'm trying to... Okay, the next person is Rahima. Did I pronounce the name well? Rahima. Please tell me how to pronounce it. Rahima. I'm learning. I learn every day. So that's one of the things I've learned today. She's going to talk on... hold on. Let me just... This is one thing that I'm really, really, really happy to hear. She's going to talk about investing in business opportunities in properties. Speak on the pros and cons on investing in UK properties. I love to have many properties. I don't have enough, honestly. I love to have many more. So will you. So we're on the same page. So she's going to tell us more about that. So put your hands together for Rahima, please, as she tells us many things. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is my presentation up? 20. That's fine. I've got my... Is my presentation up? Okay, thank you. While my presentation is coming up, thank you very much for inviting me to speak this morning. Now, I can speak about property for about 3 weeks non-stop, 24 hours. So I did ask for a smaller topic, and I wasn't given one, so we'll have a conversation. So while that's going on, I'll just give you a few tips. Tip number 1. It's a timer. I always go with it everywhere. I have it today. It's on my phone. You all have it. I would suggest you buy yourself a timer if you really want to become a serious investor. No, I'm not ready yet. So when I'm doing tasks, I always put myself a timer. So my talk this morning is 20 minutes. So there we are, 20 minutes, good to go. The next thing I really want you to do, if you're really interested in properties, get yourself an education. Very cheap way to invest in property. I've got plenty of books that you can have a look at here. I've got about 3 shelves taller than me that are full of property books. So I just gave you just a little bit. Take a magazine with you. Don't take my magazines because I pay a lot of money for these. But do invest in your education. That's the second tip. So tip number 1, get yourself a timer. Get off Facebook. Tip number 2, get yourself an education. Tip number 3, get yourself a diary. I have 3 of these. So I brought you my diary so you can have a look to see that I am serious. Sorry, my timer's fallen on the floor. Not started yet, so am I started yet? So I have a diary, and I actually put my tasks that I'm going to do. This was last Friday, my day off. Friday the 27th, those were my tasks, were already in there. I have a timer, I tick them off as I do it. If you call me and I'm in the middle of this task, I will not answer the phone. If you don't leave your message, if you don't leave me a message, I will not call you back. That's been my policy for the last 10 to 15 years. Are we good? That's me. I give it to you straight. So my timer is on 20 minutes. Yes, it's working. Let's go. Is this... do I turn it around, or are you going to turn it for me? Oh, it's on the phone. To go forward. Okay. Right, so 20 minutes in. I'm here to talk to you about property. Like I've said to you before, I can talk about property for a week, 2 weeks, a month. I can continue to talk about property. So this is really a discovery session. It's about 30 minutes long. I've got 20, so I'm going to have to speed through it. I do property as, I call it as an expensive hobby, because my actual profession is I'm a pharmacist, a hospital pharmacist. I've been for over 20 years. But somewhere along the way, I had 2 things that changed my life. One, my sister, who was very close to me, very close in age, she died at the age of 23. I was 27. And then my father died at the age of 57. So my father was a surgeon, my sister was an optician, I'm a pharmacist. So I thought, I think something's going on here. We need to actually have a different strategy going forward. So I got interested in property. This is one of the biggest properties that just... It's St. Mary's Hospital. It doesn't exist. It looked like this when I was born in it, way back then. It's a beautiful building, and obviously I just always look at it in wonder. I was interested in chemicals, so I became a pharmacist. This was my first car. Absolutely loved it. Yeah, I absolutely love this car. It's called Goldie. It gave me the little runaround. I stumbled on shares in 2002, 2004. I bought a few ISAs. I was always interested in money. And in 2007, my shares plummeted while I was on a flight. I do a lot of charity work. So this is me doing the Manchester 10K for bowel cancer. And this was my very first property that I bought in Manchester M18. This is a real property I actually own. This is the property I love best because it's giving me infinite return. I've got no money in this deal. This is the worst property that I've ever bought. I bought it in 2005. And it's given me the biggest education on property in my entire life. It almost bankrupted me. Investing in property in the UK, you can invest from the top all the way to the bottom. So you don't have to be in Manchester only. Just have a look at wherever you're comfortable in. Don't forget there's Ireland, there's the Channel Islands. Well, you can't buy property in the Channel Islands unless if you've got loads of money. I mean loads of money. So why is it good to invest in the UK? This talk is a few years old now because of Brexit, basically. It's one of the biggest things that happened to the UK, and it's one of the reasons why you should be investing in the UK. There's lots and lots of incentives for buying property in the UK. There's visa stuff, especially for people that are from abroad. The Chinese, I think from Hong Kong, once they invest a certain amount, they'll be given citizenship to the UK. That's just through buying property. There's lots and lots of links here. There's 20 of the 100 best universities in the world are in the UK. So there's lots and lots of reasons to buy in the UK. London, obviously, the central property district. This is Manchester way back then. It's a lot taller buildings have sprung up. But right now, I don't think you can buy a spoonful of land in Manchester unless you've got a lot of money. Manchester's been bought up by the Chinese, it's been bought up by the Middle East, and it's been bought up by the Russians. So I think you've missed the boat. This is Manchester. We've got lots of big cities. This is in Derby, while we have why you should invest in the UK. The UK property market is one of the best regulated property markets, so you know your money is literally on solid ground, and property prices never go down in the UK. They have never done that. Yes, I know that's what it says in the UK, properties are going up, properties are going down. The property market has never, ever, ever gone down in the UK. What you can buy, this was a school in North Manchester, and you could buy a room there for very little money, 15,000. You can buy properties for a 2-bed house. These are real houses for sale. This was in OL9 in Oldham. You can buy a 5-bed detached in Oldham. This is a property I drive past in Stockport. You can buy shops. You can buy lots and lots of different properties. So you can buy car parks, you can buy storage facilities. I drove past a pub on Eccles New Road, and my ears just pinged. I did ask Pata what's going on with that property. He didn't have a clue. That tells me he's not interested in property. So first thing I noticed, right past your church here. You can buy all sorts of properties, storage facilities, churches, libraries, pubs, car parks. You can buy bits of train station. You can buy so much property. You can buy land here in the UK. All it takes is a bit of knowledge. The knowledge is in all those books. Oops, I don't know how many more minutes I've got. Oh, my clock might have stopped. 10, 11 minutes. The thing is stopped, sorry dear. So you can buy a lot of property basically in the UK. The next question is it easy to buy property in the UK, or is it really, really difficult? Do you need lots and lots of money? I bought my first property, the house I showed you, with none of my money. I just want to say that again. I bought that property with none of my money. Okay, so it's about knowledge. It's not about money. It's not about money in your pocket. So it's really, really easy, and it's really, really difficult to buy property in the UK. It's easy if you're interested. It's easy if you're willing to put the time in. It's easy if you're willing to network. I think one of my first mentors said to me that you need to buy one deal. You need to have 400 investors in your network. You need to do 30 telephone chats a week. You need to go to 4 events a month. You need to go to 8, so it's ICE, 400 investors, coffee chats, events, phone calls. You need to put offers in. You need to do viewings. And you need to make yourself vulnerable and be out there to people and say, you know what, I want to buy that. They will laugh at you and you move on. So there's a lot that you need to do in property. You need to make yourself available out there. You need to be a bit brave as well if you're going to be doing property. There are a lot of sharks out there when you want doing property. People are willing to take your money. They will take your money, and you just need to be absolutely aware of that. They come in all sorts of shapes and colors and sizes, and they will take your money. So there is loads of sharks out there. The journey is very, very difficult. Like, it's very easy and it's very, very difficult. Just go in and ride. I always say to people that if you remember what you went through to get a visa to come to this country, I don't think anybody walked up to you and say, here's a visa. I think you went through a lot. So it's the same with the property. The challenges are you need to make sure you buy right. And one of the reasons why I showed you why I bought right and I bought wrong is because it can happen. You must have an exit strategy when you come to buy your property. So you need to know what you're going to do with that property at the end. You need to have at least 3 exit strategies. So what do I mean by exit strategies? So for example, you need to know that in 5 years' time you're going to sell and make some money. What happens if there's still negative equity, for example? You might say, you know what, I'm going to multi-rent that property, or I'm going to give that property to one of those people that provide services, or I'm just going to sit on it and just wait. So you need to have an exit strategy before you even buy the asset. You need to understand that the purchasing process is very protracted. It takes long time in the UK. It's one of the longest. If you're really fast, it will take about 20 weeks. If you're buying cash, it might take about 18 weeks. But normally it takes anywhere from 24 weeks to about 48 weeks, and that's buying one asset. That's what buying one property. So they go through a lot of stuff, and even right at the end, the seller can pull out. In the UK, in Scotland, it's a bit different, but in England, the seller can turn around at 11:59 when you agree to sell at 12 o'clock and say, actually, I'm not selling it. Managing the asset is also a bit of a process. You need to plan your tax, so that's part of your exit strategy. So plan your tax before you even sell the asset. You need to think about disposing the assets. I'm thinking you're buying it, but you're thinking of disposing it. That is part of the journey. And you need to be very, very aware of well-meaning relatives. They do mean well in the beginning, but it's overwhelming for them. And actually, they might lead you up the garden path. So, yeah, relatives. The other top tip I'll give you is make sure you have your power team. So local knowledge is really, really important. The UK, fortunately, has got a lot of, I've got about 3 minutes. It's got a lot of information available to you. So you all live in Salford, so salford.gov.uk or manchester.gov.uk. They will have planning information on there. They'll have architects, legals. All these need to be part of your power team. Speak to your local councillor and find out what's happening to that pub down the road, because you could buy that pub and make it into flats. Due diligence is very, very important. This is all the registrations that you need to be into, contractors, and you need to be very, very patient when you're buying property. Oh, I told you this is an old slide. Massive action. You need to take a lot of action, and I can go into that maybe in the Q&A section. And I'm nearly done, but my top tip is B. I want you to write those two letters down, B-E. Do, D-O. Have, H-A-V-E. Be, do, have. Those are the words that you need to live by if you're interested in any business or any property. You need to be the person who does that business. You need to be that property owner. The property owner wakes up at 6. The property owner goes to network meetings. The property investor puts themselves out there. The property investor is being very serious about property. Take action. Take action. It's all about action. You see the pub is boarded up. Why do you not know about it? Why do you not know about that property? Why are you not living in, why are you still renting? Yeah, you need to ask yourself all these questions. And the difference between doing is all about knowledge. That's it. Okay, it's not about having money, it's about knowledge. And have. If you do, you will definitely have. Thank you very much.
Right on time. Put your hands together for Rema again. That was very concise and straight to the point. Thank you very much. I know some of us have questions. Let's keep our questions and bring them afterwards. Very, very, very important. It is easy. It's important. She said something. Why are you renting? And that's key. Why are you renting? And apparently, I call her my younger sister. Sorry, just wave your hand. That's my younger sister. We're talking about, when I was bringing her from the train station, I was talking about people renting all through their lives, right? And she just said, why are you renting? I believe, this is what I believe, might be wrong, I don't know. But I believe that God didn't make us to be assistants all through the life. You understand what I mean? So it means that you and I should be always there in the forefront. That's what I believe. I don't think anybody should rent all through his lifetime. You should own your property, even if it's just one, and from there we can leverage on. Okay, before the next guest comes, just to let us know, if we look towards the last table there, you can see an arranged, what will I call it, an array of clothes there on display and jewelries. So the first one, if you look, is called the Echo in Manchester. How many of us know Echo? You know Echo now? Lagos. Yeah, Lagos. He stayed in Lagos before, so stayed in Ikeja and Ikoyi. Yeah, good. And he knows Warri, Benin, Yenagwa, Enugu. Yeah. So he's a Nigerian actually. So that's Echo in Manchester, which means Lagos in Manchester, It's by my sister. She's a medical doctor who is a medical businesswoman. So I don't think she went to school to study medical college. Maybe she's medical finance. So she has her stuff over there. During the next break or so, you can please go there and not just look, pick like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, I don't know, And and the next to her is Tiwani's Jewelries Conglomerate. So pick one for your spouse. Pick one for your spouse. And very, very important, I bought one for my missus, so, and she wears it and, shows that I love her. So if you want to prove to yourself that you love your spouse, you buy one from her, at least one, at most 10. Amen? Good. And there's also, we love to eat in this place. We love to eat, yeah? We love to eat good food. All right, so our sister and auntie, Sister Buki, she's a cook of the year. Cook of the year. So she does catering services as well. So we have businesses within our family. God has blessed us. We're really happy and grateful. So I think we'll latch on that. Why is that pop seated there? I think I should buy it and turn it to flats. It's a good one. Patrick, we'll do it together, yeah? I believe in you. Amen. All right, so without wasting time, the next person we're going to bring, I met him this morning, a lovely guy. He's as shy as I am. Yeah. How many of you know I'm shy? Okay, you don't know. All right, so he's going to speak on the pros and cons on investing in the UK. He's going to talk to us about that. And, basically about investment opportunities and co. He's the chairman of the African Business Alliance and is no other person than David Smith. Can we put our hands together for him as well as he comes to do his presentation? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bobby. I was going to say, I don't have a timer. Rahema knows me well. I can speak for Britain, which is probably appropriate today. I'll start with 21 minutes, but if I go over, don't worry. I'm not going to talk about investing in Britain, and I'm not going to talk about the poverty in Africa. I'm going to talk about abundance in Africa. And not many people talk about that because they think of all the problems, the lacks, the issues. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to talk about abundance. Can you go back one slide, please? Because there's a small line under there that you probably can't read at the back, so I'll read it. It's the opportunity for Manchester. Now, I know there's a pub down the road, and that's an opportunity in Manchester. But there are other opportunities in Manchester. So, for example, we have a software company who's one of our members down in Greenwich. And they have produced software for the United Nations, paid for by the United Nations, for use by the prison service in Kenya. Okay? So when you go to prison in Kenya, you go into their software. I mean, not literally. They record you in the software. And if you were in the Seychelles, the same company has produced a piece of software for criminal investigations. So if the policeman comes along and he arrests you and he takes you along and he starts investigating you in the Seychelles, then you're part of that software. So your case is being monitored. So why is that relevant to Manchester? Well, because there's a software company in Manchester that has a contract with the Ministry of Justice in Abuja. And they need software for prison services and for criminal investigations. And so what we do is we put people together. So the work that's been done for Seychelles and Kenya is now being applied to Nigeria. And it happened because of the work that we do as Manchester Africa Business Network, or in my case, British African Business Alliance. And I think it's important that you understand this, because every day when you walk to work, when you drive to work, when you catch the train to work, you go past a business that could be working in Africa but isn't. And the reason it isn't is because they don't know how to go there. And I know some of you are familiar with the airport at Lagos, and when you come out of the international airport, there is a scrum. It's not a rugby scrum, it's a taxi scrum. And I ask you, if you had a nice boy from Salford and he ended up in that taxi scrum, where would he be? Would he be in some fancy hotel, or would he be out in the bush somewhere? I think he could go either way, but it's not a risk that I would want to take myself. And sitting in the comfort of my home here, would I plan to go to Lagos? Would I plan to go to Kinshasa? Would I plan to go to Johannesburg by myself just to see what it's like? I think the answer is no. Now, I want to contrast that with what I call the next big party. Because I think if you look at Africa commercially, and you look at the opportunity of Africa, it is the next big party. But what's the first thing that happens with a party? Someone sends you an invitation. So if you're sitting in your house in northwest England, and you're thinking, oh, I haven't got a party to go to, I think there's something going on in Africa. Dangerous. Finance director's not going to give me the budget to travel. I won't even bother to ask. Someone needs to write the invitation. Now, I know about 5.5 million people who can write. They're called the African diaspora in the UK. And what I would like to suggest to you, that this powerful group of people are falling down on their responsibilities a little bit. They do a huge amount. They send thousands and millions of pounds and dollars back into Africa. So I'm not saying that you don't. What I'm saying is there's another way of looking at this, and that's what I'm going to try and whip through in what is only 15 minutes. So, creating wealth is the role of business. And you can all have copies of these slides so you can read the small print, and I'm not going to read it all. But wealth is more than money. Wealth is education, it's health, it's confidence and trust. And I would call it well-being. We are a private business. It says British at the beginning, but it's nothing to do with the government. It's private. We're a membership organization, and we work with our members, like the guy in Greenwich, to link him with the guy in Manchester, to deliver a contract with the government in Abuja. That's what we do. Next slide, please. We've got political turmoil here. You can think about Brexit. You can think about COVID. There was COP26. Have we all forgotten about that? Probably. And what's top of mind at the moment? Ukraine. Where's the sunflower oil coming from? How many fields in Africa are growing sunflowers? Not enough. How many factories are processing sunflower oil in Africa? Not enough. And so this relationship that we've had with Eastern Europe and Ukraine and Russia over the last 40 years has disappeared. It's an opportunity for Africa. Political constant change in Africa and levelling up. How do you feel Manchester's getting on in the levelling up stage? Is it levelling up? Are you all getting richer? Have you bought the pub down the road yet? I'm sure someone's made an offer. Right. Here's a little pie chart. We've had wonderful food today. Look at my pie. This is Manchester and Africa. 11,000 business professionals with links to Africa living here in this city. 11,000. How many do you know? We had a bit of trouble knowing people in the room earlier. So there are 11,000 people out there who are business professionals who say, I work with DRC. I work with Kenya. I'm from Gambia. And we're not talking to each other. We've done a number of deals recently which have come out of the diaspora, where someone has said, this is what I'm trying to do. And I've got a guy at the moment, he's looking for about 60,000 to develop a corn threshing business in Zimbabwe. He's got local contracts and he's got all sorts of things to go on there, and people are importing their corn from Zambia. So there's a real opportunity there. But what we've discovered is that there are people in the community who have that money and that they will bring it forward. We can't talk about particular deals, but actually we believe there is £25 billion held by people in the diaspora who could invest in your project, in your business, in your activity. But you have to convince them that that pub is worth buying. So you have to know everything about that pub, or that corn business, or that oil business, or whatever it is that you have in your heart that you want to do. Let's go to the next slide. Now this picks up on Zimbabwe. There are about 13,000 business professionals from Zimbabwe in the UK. Oh, hang on, can you go back? I left out a bit. Who's been to EMEA? Does anyone know the country EMEA? Huh? No? Does anybody know the name EMEA? You know it. Good. Okay, that's good. I didn't know that. That's not the EMEA I was talking about. No, that's EMEA. EMEA. E-M-E-A. Some of the more worldly of you will know that it's Europe, Middle East, and Africa. So I want you to see this big blue bit here. 3,000 business managers in Manchester have a corporate responsibility for Africa. How many do you know? How many are you talking to? How many are you saying, come to my party in Burundi? Come to my party in Mozambique? Come to my party in Gabon? 3,000 in Manchester, 11,000 business professionals. This isn't counting the business professionals in the diaspora who aren't part of this database. Next slide. So, 13,000 Zimbabwean links in the UK, 300,000 EMEA professionals in the UK. So you thought you had to get 3,000, you have to do, what is that, 100 times that? 300,000 business professionals with the corporate responsibility to develop business in Africa. What are you doing to meet those people? Where is your invitation cards? Can I see you putting them out there? Are they on social media? That presentation earlier was really, really important. Next slide. So leveling up. Here we're lulled into a sense of security, and it is a false sense of security. The wealth that we all create between us with all those people in London, all those people in Scotland, doesn't matter whether you're a sheep farmer or a private investor. Together we create about $40,000 per head. Okay? The States is about 64,000. The world average is 11,000. The largest economy in Africa is Nigeria. It is 19th in Africa in terms of GDP per head. It has to grow 5 times by 2 years ago, so get your time machine out, to get to world average. So we cannot sit here comfortably. 7 minutes left. Bloody hell. Okay. We cannot sit here comfortably and say it's okay, because it's not. Because the security issue, because of the training of the youth, because of the need for jobs, because of the doubling of the population. We can't do it. Think of poor Burundi. It's at $274 per head. Why should any country be at that level? What is it that we can do to take the natural resources of those countries and boost the income to the people of those countries. So let's look at the football tables. So this is Division 1, and we have Seychelles in the lead, the only country above world average in Africa. And here we drop down. South Africa is around about $5,000 on these figures from the World Bank. Nigeria, for the footballers amongst you, top of Division 2, over here. Congo Democratic Republic, way down bottom half of Division 3. Got to get those footballs going. This is a challenge, especially to the young people in the room, because some of us old fogies aren't going to be able to do this. You guys have to step up and say, am I interested? Do I want to do it? Or am I going to follow Rehema and go and buy the pub and turn it into flats? Or maybe that's step 1, towards step 2, towards step 3. So these are the challenges that we're looking at and the opportunities. So can you imagine if we got 11,000 people into this room, it'd be pretty packed tight. But if we got 100 into this room, we could have quite a party. And if 10 of those people had projects that the rest of us could learn about and learn from, wouldn't that be brilliant? And what about the lady from Walton-on-Thames? Walton-on-Thames, very plush part of southwest London. Lady's been running a charity down there, looking after her village in Uganda. She increased the revenue to the housewives of that village by 300%. What did she do? She gave them 10 chickens. The chickens laid eggs. They sold the eggs in the market. With the profits, they bought goats. With the profits from the milk and the meat, they bought pigs. And so over a period of years, that village grew in wealth. It was all part of a plan. And if you go to a website called Let Them Help Themselves, Rehema knows it well. And can you imagine if that property was worth anything like what the pub is worth? And there's no reason why that property shouldn't be worth the same. So we've got a lot to do. We try to collaborate. That's what we do. On to the next slide. Africa's a tiny place. We all misunderstand it. We've looked at the wrong maps. So China's all over Africa. That's not true. It's not true. Because if China was all over Africa, it would only take up this bit. Because the United States is taking up that bit, and India is taking up that bit. Somalia on its own is 20% the size of India. It has 14 million people. On a pro rata basis, it would have a population of 360 million people. All the wealth, all those countries, Western Europe, Eastern Europe, USA, China, India, Japan, and UK, fit into the landmass of Africa. So everything here in Manchester, everything, all the buildings, all the businesses, all the bank accounts, all the people, fit into a tiny little bit of what's shown as Madagascar there. The opportunities are huge. On to the next slide. Now, here's a problem. There's always going to be a problem with Africa. The median age of Nigeria is 18.2. Half the population is over 18, and half the population is under 18. So as the population doubles over the next 27 years, what's going to happen to that median age? It's going to drop away to about 12. So great big companies like Microsoft and Google are going to be going to Africa and doing business with 12-year-olds. Is that sensible? How do we train those young people? How do we give them the expertise? We've got some serious work to do. Next slide. Everybody talks about Facebook. That is a picture of where people live. If you are an orange dot, you've been caught by Facebook and you've connected. So you can see where that is. It's great to study. On to the next slide, which I think will be the picture of Manchester Airport. Oh yes, there it is. You see the yellow blob at the top? Every bit of yellow is an aeroplane. Okay? This is a picture of a market up here, Europe. This is a picture of an opportunity down here, Africa. We have a lovely friend called John Howell. His business is about developing aviation in Africa. He runs conferences doing that. He used to be part of our membership team here, leadership team here in Manchester. These are things that we have to grapple with and actually work out what we do. Next slide. But what we know is that the village, well, remember the village? The village is not going to succeed on its own. The mangoes are going to fall on the floor. There's a machine in Malmesbury in Wiltshire that will process 1,000 kilos of mangoes per hour into juice. Meanwhile, the mangoes are rotting on the floor. If you go to the supermarket, you can buy mangoes, but they come from different places. I'll just put that on to 20, shall I? So, what we're looking at is how do we put in place strategies for success? So we want a core group of African business professionals in Manchester coming together to write invitations. Here's an invitation to Uganda. Here's an invitation to Rwanda. Is there a delegation from Manchester going to Chogum? What is Chogum? Do you know what Chogum is? Anybody? Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Rwanda, June 23. Tickets are very expensive now, but there ought to be a Manchester delegation. Where did Manchester City Council put Manchester or Africa on Manchester's shopping list? We look at it in 5 years' time. Meanwhile, you keep being poor because we've got nothing to give you, least of all time. So we need a group of people in Manchester who are going to turn around and say, we're doing it anyway. Sorry, excuse my English. We have to get together. We have to send those invitations. We have to get people looking at how hospitals are built, looking at what we do with clinics. How are we going to house the extra 1.2 billion people who are going to be born in the next 25 years? Where are the house builders? Where are the electricians and the plumbers? Who's going to sort out the drains? It's very practical. That whole thing of agriculture, and actually without Ukraine we suddenly don't have oil in the shops. How ridiculous is that? Challenges, opportunities, leveling up, war on waste. Avocado's going to rot. Avocado oil in Holland and Barrett, £20 a litre, £22 a litre. So if the avocado is falling to rot and it has no cost, and there's a machine that you can buy that will turn it into oil, which has some cost, and say you could only sell it for £7 because Holland and Barrett want all the profit, that's still £6 something of contribution to the cost of the machine per litre. It's huge, these opportunities. We just have to think about them. What we need to do is to work with the low-hanging fruit. That's the ones that are easiest to catch. No, what I mean is the companies already working with Africa. The ones based in Manchester, we will help you find them. reach out to Africa-friendly investors. Now, Miss Moneybags here, who hasn't bought the pub either yet, is sitting on an asset here which she's not sure she can use in her own country, but she might want to invest in other parts of Africa. And if we take our 5.5 million people, maybe there are 500,000 people with 50,000 to invest each. Do you know what that is? Have you done your 50,000 times table recently? 50,000, 100,000, 150. Okay, it's 25 billion pounds sitting in the Halifax and sitting in the nationwide. What we need is a list of projects that need to be done. And I'm not talking about government projects, I'm talking about village projects, I'm talking about farming projects, I'm talking about any small and medium-sized business project. And those projects are here in this room. Each one of you have somewhere in your mind, when the time comes, I'm going to do this. Bring it forward now. Bring it forward now. Accelerate that process. There's a gentleman I can introduce you to in Stourbridge, just outside Birmingham. He has a manually operated block making machine. With it, you can build your own pub, so you don't need to buy that one. Okay? That pub's got such good value out of this. But the gentleman took 2 of those machines to Djibouti. It's a place in Africa, if you don't know. His turnover last year, $300,000. So the machines cost him about £10,000, £12,000, and he's making $300,000 a year. Who'd like to earn some money? I think that this is what we're talking about. How do we apply what we know here, what we have at our fingertips, to what can be done, what needs to be done? No, what must be done on the continent. Next. Africa, we'll leave that, talked about them. Okay. There we go. Oh, that's strange. There was a chart that was supposed to come up on the previous one. What we do is we have groups all over the UK, and the purpose of those groups is to bring people like you together, to find out where the expertise is in the community, and then to write invitations to British businesses to engage with us and bring their kit. I noticed Cargill just coming around the corner on my way here this morning, slightly bigger than the pub, but in Nigeria. How do we get them to go into other countries in Africa? What is their strategy? How do we work with them? Literally, half a mile from this place, what's their plan for Africa? How do we engage with that? Well, we better invite them and find out. So we have a team of 6 people. They look after different areas, and our team of 6 are charged with developing this group in Manchester. And if it spills over into Liverpool or Rochdale or anywhere else, I don't mind. Wherever there is a community, we should have a group. Next. Also, there are 1 or 2 people who aren't from Nigeria here, and what we're looking at is the lack of chambers of commerce. So Zimbabwe, with 13,000 business professionals in the UK, with links to Zimbabwe, don't have a chamber of commerce. So they're not saying to British business, "Hi, we're Zimbabwe, come and do business with us." It's basic thinking. Let's put in place what we need to put in place. If your country doesn't have a chamber of commerce, talk to us. We'll help you set one up. We'll talk with the ambassador. We'll talk with the high commissioner. We'll talk with the trade attachés. We hosted the Minister of Trade and Investment through our network director in Peterborough. He put the whole thing together. We just added a logo to the program. $90 million is going into Nigeria as a result of that trade mission, because I was able to connect this person with that person over the course of that week. $90 million. It's going into Abakaliki in Ebonyi State. Okay? Papers are ready to be signed. It's not signed yet, so I can't say it's done. Letter of intent has been written by the investors, the Africa-friendly investors, $90 million. Solar farm, waste-to-energy plant, war on waste. Let's turn household waste into electricity. On to the next. So we have a stack of services that we put in place to help you bring your project forward. We also have two other products. Entrepreneurs packs, which are ready-made businesses. So you could buy that block machine and you could be setting that block machine up in your community, and you could be selling blocks to people who want to build houses. Whether you do 300,000 in a year, I don't know. That's down to you, your market. But the facility is there. And the other thing is, there's a company in Liverpool. They make a solution that you put in your fuel tank. It reduces your carbon emissions. It cleans your engine, and it improves your mileage. You're not using it here, even less reason to have it used in Africa. But think about those diesel engines pumping out fumes and poisons into the air, in particularly Lagos, but many other cities as well. Why? How is that Liverpool company going to get their stuff into Africa? I think we better send them an invitation. I think we should. So, market opportunities. 54 opportunities for one company in Liverpool. 54. Different countries, all with diesel engines, all kicking out smoke and pollution. On then to the next, and the next. I've done those. So my suggestion is that we move forward together, that we work on projects that you want to see happen, on projects that you know need to happen. I don't mind whether they come from you, whether they come from your state government, whether they come from your national government. It doesn't really worry me at all. Guy running a security company in Oxford came to me and said, David, can you help me? One of my school friends has come to me and they've got a problem and they want to build a railway. Can you build a railway? You ever built a railway? No, I haven't either. Anybody know Brio? Little wooden trains that kids have? That's the last railway I built. I have in my bag a 92-page business plan for a $7.5 billion railway in Nigeria that will connect 3 ports, 11 states, 17 cities, and Abuja. And its cost will be around about 6% of GDP. So all it has to do is increase GDP by 6% to pay for it. All. If it did 10%, if it did 20% across 11 states, how many jobs would that create? So a security man looking after a football pitch in Oxford put this project on our table. It's approved by the Ministry of Transportation. It's waiting for its certificate of compliance. We have investors who want to fund it. We're looking for some startup money to get the feasibility studies done, which will trigger investments from Africa Finance Corporation, African Development Bank, and others, because they don't see it as a Nigerian railway. They see it as an Africa free trade, continental free trade area railway, creating a link between Niger, Chad, Central Africa Republic, with the ports of West Africa? And if it came through Nigeria, wouldn't that be good for Nigeria? But it could go through Cameroon if Nigeria isn't ready to take it. Or maybe the brown envelope's a little too big. Okay. So there are problems, there are issues that we have to address. But if we start at the bottom, if we start with the people, what do the people need? How do we put those things in place? That's what we want to do. That's why Pata, Rehema, Daniel, and I are looking to build our team of business leaders in Manchester who are going to start writing invitations. Invitations to Clark Energy, one of the largest suppliers of diesel engines into, and diesel and other engines into the power industry of Africa, here in Manchester. PZ Cousins, here in Manchester. Cargill, here in Manchester. All of these companies have a vested interest in helping us help you. Ethiopian are members. Probably the largest connection of flights into different African countries that you could have, starting from Manchester. No need to fly to London. Just go to the airport, get on a plane, go to Addis, go to 52 other cities around the continent. We need to be working with them. And thank you for listening to me, because I've now talked for 35 minutes, which is easily more than I was allowed.
We have to give you leverage. Thank you very much, David. Put your hands together again for him, please. What a brilliant eye-opener for investment opportunities. Well, I'm glad that we're having this seminar, conference, business forum. Thank you guys for putting it together. It's an eye-opener for me, which I'm sure is an eye-opener for many of us here, because you never can tell the opportunities that are just beckoning on us. And all we just need to do is make a move, and you never know. I am sure that I'll make one or two moves with this. And I think I'll be part of your team. I have to. It's not my fault. I like good money. I love good money. As long as it's good, I love it. So, three people have spoken, and looking at it, they're all related, because we need one to do the other and everything. Questions, thoughts that might have come through your minds, we will discuss it right now. Please, there is no wrong question, all right? There is no, quote unquote, stupid question. Let's learn about these things. While all of you were talking, I was just picturing a number of things. Oh, I've got this book. Powerful book. I've read it twice. Oh yeah, I'm taking action already. I read it twice, and the one in my house is folded in 3 different pages of where I've marked. Powerful book. Sorry. It's like I said, I love good money. So, things like the effects of digital marketing in property. I'm into property, but I do rent to rent at the moment. And I don't have the money to buy yet, others, but I'm doing rent to rent because I can't buy so many, if you know what I mean. So how do I navigate, acquiring? I was just thinking of, using digital marketing in getting more houses, properties, It might not be making sense the way I'm saying it, but I'm just thinking, because I've been thinking about, properties. When I read that you were going to come in, I was like, look, I must listen to you. I have people to call. I'm like, I'll call them later, but I must listen to you, because properties is one thing that strikes my mind. But anyway, don't listen to me. Do we have questions, please? Questions? Okay, 1. Questions? Anybody else? 2. Thank you very much. Anybody else? 3, 4. Good. 5. 6. 6. So let's do ladies first, do we? Should we do ladies first? Yeah. Let's do ladies first, yeah. So that they know that we're gentlemen, yeah? Okay, so Miss French, number 1. Doctor that loves good money like me. Number 2. Which other lady again you get? You want to ask a question? I thought you raised money. Your hand, sorry. Okay, now. So 2 ladies, and then number 3, number 4, and then Christoph, number 5. And the others won't come again. So we'll start with you, please. What's your name again? Migren. So I call her Miss French. Can we put our hands together for her? I'll bring the mic to you. Don't worry. You don't need to stand. I'll bring it to you. Oh, okay.
I want to ask a question to David about BABA. I think you invested most of the English country. What do you think about French country? Because I saw just like a country, Malawi, Ethiopia, Zimbabwe, most of them. But what do you think about the French country?
Thank you so much. French-speaking countries, yeah? Good, good, good.
This is time for a joke. Okay? So, for the Nigerians of you, you're supposed to laugh at this because you'll understand it. The rest of you, you'll understand more about Nigeria when they laugh. Okay. So, we have a lady in France that wants to do Faba. And we have a gentleman in Germany who wants to do Daba. And we have a gentleman, a pastor from Nigeria in Netherlands, he wants to do Naba. And it becomes very difficult to do all of those, so I just thought we'd do Yoruba. No, but seriously, all our networks are run by people that want to make a difference. They want to step forward and do it. So let's talk about your country. Let's talk about what is already going on. There is a DRC Chamber of Commerce here in the UK. PATA is involved with it. They are affiliates of ours. And what we would like to see is way more projects coming from DRC into UK, Europe, USA. I don't mind who is providing the technology or the funding. That's not relevant. It's more a question, let's get the stuff done. And so it comes back, I'm afraid, in the same way that it fell on the Chinese, on the Indians, on the Israelis. The diaspora groups have to come together. They have to put aside the petty arguments about my president's better than your president. Let's not bother with that because it's not relevant. And let's kick some ass and get some things done. That's the way it's got to be. Sorry, I will edit that. Let's kick some bottoms so that that is done.
Thank you very much. Has that answered your question? Yeah? Good. Thank you very much. Miss Toby, yeah? Okay.
Thank you very much for the speakers. That was very thought-provoking and very challenging. So my question is to Rahima. You said you bought your first property without money, that you don't need money, you need knowledge. So please show us the way. So so if I want to go into the investment property, for example, how do I do that? Putting my money inside.
Okay, thank you for that very interesting question. And a comment before our chair said he didn't have money for more property, and I just wanted to say to him to stop saying that. He just didn't have the knowledge to have access to money. So my first property, I knew how much money I needed, which was £10,000. I didn't have it, so I just rang up somebody who had it, and I said, I actually need to buy a kitchen. I said, okay, how much is the kitchen? I said, the kitchen is £10,000. I said, okay, fine. We did a bit of negotiation. That was on a Monday. The money was in my account on the Friday, and the following week I went and I bought the house. The person who lent me the money just didn't know the kitchen was in another house, but effectively I bought a kitchen. Effectively, you have access to a lot of money. You have access to a lot of money, you just don't have the knowledge. So in your network, within this church, there will be people who've got £1,000, £500. You need 10 of those people to get your deposit. Obviously, you need your legal paperwork to get it done. If you've got good credit rating, which is a problem within our African community, I think A lot of our African community, if I say the word Experian, does anybody heard of Experian? Okay, we don't check it, we don't sort it out, we don't sort out our credit rating. So if you've got a good Experian credit rating, the banks will give you money. The bank gave me money. I rang the bank, it gave me the money. My next two properties, what I did was because the value had gone up in that property, I just went to the bank. I said, well, I've got a bigger asset, more credit. They gave me double what I had before, so I bought two properties. So it's not that I had money. I had the knowledge to get to the money. This is what David is trying to say. You've got people in your network that have got money. The other thing that will get you money is you need to be known. You need to be trusted. So in your network, give. I always say to people, give. Give a lot of free knowledge, free lunches, just give it. In our African culture, we tend to keep a lot of our ideas to ourselves because people will steal my idea. So I'll give you business ideas, I'll share them out. You run, because that idea, that knowledge will come back to me. So that's how basically you get access to money. It's not easy. It's about your reputation. It's about the way you conduct yourself in the communities, the way you conduct yourself around people's money, and that's what's going to get you the money. I hope that helps.
Thank you very much. That's a good one. So when next I want to buy my house, I'm seeing like 6 people that will collect £1,000 from each. Pastor is one of them. He's going to give me 2,500. Pastor Daisy, 2,000. You're right, though, because there's a house they want to sell, and 89 people have booked to view it. Actually, I'm one of them. So I think it's something in line with that one. It's just in Manchester, a 3-bed, and I wonder why 89 people have booked to buy it. 89, like booked to view, sorry, not booked to buy. So I think it's in line with what you just said. I think it's in line with it. So good. A lot of things are happening, to be honest. A lot of things are really happening. So you still have a question? Christoph? Okay. Oh, sorry. No worries.
So about this crowdfunding, so there's a lot of YouTube adverts. There's this very one that comes to my mind. I'm sure a lot of people know it's a very common built guy so I wonder, when it comes up, I listen to the end, but I've never actually tried to listen to any of the, you click on the link and go to the masterclass. But I find it very fascinating that if you invest as little as £50, as you said, you have some returns. And how safe is that kind of thing? You talk about a lot of sharks out there. So how do you know?
So if you've got no money, this magazine costs me, I think it's £7.95 a month. That's about £9, £8 a month. So £8 times 12. That's going to be your first investment in property. In this book, I can't give you a copy of this. I have hundreds of this. I catalog this. The information here is absolutely worth its weight in gold. It will tell you people's stories, how they bought money. Every month they have a case of how somebody made it in property with no money. Every single month. So you can have a read through before we leave. But basically, in terms of crowd property, there's lots of, I think Crowd House, which was based in Alderley Edge, I think. One of the people in my group bought their headquarters anyway. It went under. So a lot of it some of it is unregulated. So again, it comes down to knowledge. Read, research, go to their headquarters, speak to the people investing, go and see the projects they've done. And see how much they have really made. Don't just read on YouTube and put money in. Yes, YouTube is your starting point, like the digital marketing person said. So when they put stuff on YouTube, this again goes back to digital marketing. Investigate a little bit further and get further and further down the funnel. Don't just say, "Oh, I'll put money in." But in magazines like this, which you will not find in a normal book.
you'll not find in a normal magazine shop. You will have to find this through the property network. You will be able to get that knowledge. So in terms of crowd property, the background to it is that a lot of people didn't have money, but a lot of people had little bits of money. So people just went through the FCA, the Financial Conduct Authority. They got registered. They went through all the regulations. And then they have now the power to get your money. Whether it's £50, £1,000, they put the projects up. In theory, the projects are really vetted. That's the theory. And then you put your money in and they offer you a return. From my experience, I'm not saying I'm the most experienced property investor in my network, but from experience, if somebody offering you in property a return of greater than 8%, run 100 miles. Because that deal is probably not very well vetted. Yes, it can happen, but most investment, as long as you know, I'm expecting a return of being 5-6% in the current market in the UK. I don't know about Africa, in the UK. Then you can start investigating. Somebody offering you 25% return, you then need to start running 100 miles. I hope that helps. But please read through this before you leave.
Thank you very much. Good one as well. All right. Next question. Yes. You first. Okay. What's your name? Sorry.
Okay. My name is Daniel Yupet. Sorry, I came late. Yeah. My question has been asked by Dr. Toby. So, yes.
It looks like we are only asking questions about properties. So my question is I want to find out, okay, is it risky to buy a house cash?
It depends on what kind of house it is and what it is that you're buying. Are you saying you're buying a house to live in? Are you buying a house to rent out? Are you buying a house for another source? What are you using the house for? To rent out. Okay, that's fine. Buying a house cash is a good thing, particularly if it's your first property. The reason being that once you're on that ladder, once you're on the property ladder, and you buying the property to invest as a cash property, I need to get that clear. If you buy a house to live in, that is actually a liability. It's not an investment. Okay, so we need to get that bit clear. So if you're buying the house to rent out or to use for commercial gains, it is a good idea. It then starts to cash flow, so you run it as a business. You then set it up as a business, and now this business is worth money. You then take to the bank, leverage it as a business, and you can then get more money that way. If you just want to buy it cash and keep it, that's perfectly fine. But you still have expenses. You still have to pay council tax and all sorts of taxes on top of the income. So your return is probably... It depends on so many different factors. That's why I don't say, I need to see the house before I can say, yes, that's a very good one. So it really depends on a lot of factors. But if you just want to park, you might say, I want to park my money in there for my pension. That's really good. That's a better return than putting it into, on a bank account or an ISA or something like that. Because you get capital growth as well as cash flow every month. So it is a good idea. Your question was, it a good idea? It depends on the asset. It depends on what you're going to use it for, how much money you're willing to park, and for how long.
I like the way you just broke it. It depends on what you're looking at it to do with. Because if I have the money to buy a house, it's good to buy a house, but it can then become...
You also need to think that these people also need to learn to trust you. It's not going to be a 5 minutes. One of the problems we do one of the wrong things we do when we go to networking meetings, it was we turn up, hello, my name is Christoph, here's my business card, I do this, I do this, I do this, and all the business cards just go in the pocket or the bin. Christoph, when you go to your next meeting, find out what the other person does. Don't even tell them what you're looking for. okay? You are looking for a relationship. I go to a network meeting, a property network meeting every second Saturday, 9 o'clock sometimes we're there until 3 o'clock. It's in Salford Keys. It's called Cup of Coffee. You're welcome to come there. Our next meeting is, I think, this Saturday, but because it's a Jubilee, I'm not so sure. So we meet and we talk about anything from this went wrong, the plumber went wrong, this went wrong, I really hate what I'm doing. We don't talk about, and eventually people will know you. I've been going to that group since 2017 or 2016, and I brokered my first deal with one of the investors last year from that group. So if you're telling me that you've been going to the same networking meeting for 4 years, 5 years, and you failed to make any connections, then I think you're doing the wrong thing. The tip is, one, be consistent, like the strategy said. Be there every time, whether it's raining. Don't give any excuses. The cat, the dog. Turn up, help other people, and eventually you will build that relationship, and eventually you'll get the deal over the line. But you're not going to get that deal in the first couple of months or the first year.
That's good. There's a lot going on about properties, I know, which is important. Yeah, just one minute, please. Before I go to the next question, I know a lot of questions have been going to us, but I want to go to David. With all you said, thank you very much for that. How can an individual like me, who's an African, yes, how do I get to see the opportunities back home from here? Does it make sense? How do I harness those opportunities? Yes, I'm an African, but, I can't just jump on a country and say, look, I want to do business there. So how do I go from here?
I think the maxim is start where you are, start with what you have. And going back on Christoph's question, I would say his first step is down to W.H. Smith's, pick up a few property magazines, start doing some research, get some understanding. There's a lovely story about a property in Warrington I've just been looking at there. It's fascinating. Same with Africa. We concentrate on the UK. We don't concentrate on Burundi. We don't concentrate on Chad or Central African Republic. We know things need to be done there, and then we invite our members to come forward and say what needs to be done. So you would come with your experience from the various careers that you've got, and you say, I can advise on these things, okay? So to the group here in Manchester, you become an asset because you're a go-to person for what you know. So step one. Step two is that you meet someone, like the man with the block machine, or the man from Liverpool with his fuel additive, and you've got that. And then you're thinking about, but Uncle Ola, he has a car maintenance business in the little village outside Jos, or wherever. And then there is a link that can be created, and then paperwork can be exchanged. No one's got on a flight, no one's done any spending of money really, but actually your uncle is a tier 1 motor distribution operation in northern Nigeria. Prime target for the guy in Liverpool. And then it's a question of making those connections. You go to see the man in Liverpool, you look at the study, you look at the films, you look at the paperwork, the websites, and you're happy, then you can take it forward. So I would say, even though I'm asking for people who are ready to write invitations, I'm actually asking for people who are interested in learning, interested in taking that first step. So that's a very important thing. Now, no one's asked me how much it costs to join. So, just in case you have to go to the pastor again.
I will.
We look at it that we're talking to business professionals, and we have micro businesses and entrepreneurs at one level, and that's £300. The next level up is established small businesses, and that would be £750. If you're employing more than 20 people, you're into the medium business sector, and then we'd be looking at £2,500. And if you're employing more than 200, we'd call you a corporate, and you'd be looking at about £7,500. So, thinking about it, Cargill would come along as a corporate. Cousins would come along as a corporate. But someone who's trying to set up a charity or trying to support a charity would come along at 300. And what we would be looking at is, how do we add value to you and what you're doing? And we want to bring you three things. We want to bring you contacts. So by meeting other people, you get to know stuff. We want to bring you knowledge, and that could be technology. So it could be the block making machine. Now, who knows that power and water and communications are all major issues in Africa? There's not enough power, there's very little water, fresh water, and communications, well, you have to wait till you get to a big city. There is a shipping container in Sussex that will provide all of those three things, and it can be driven to any village. So any village anywhere on the continent that can be reached by a truck that carries a container can have power, 200 kilowatts of three-phase power, so exactly what we have coming out of the socket here, 7,000 litres an hour of fresh water, and a communications link that means that the school, the village, the government office can access the internet. So that's a technology transfer. You might say, oh, I need that, and then we take that conversation forward with the people in Sussex. So that's how it works. We start gently, we start where we are, and we bring people together. There's a guy from Knutsford, from Malawi, who reluctantly decided to join. He was keen, but his treasurer wasn't. As a result of joining, we introduced him to a guy in Devon. As a result of that, there was a commitment, pre-COVID, to deliver $40,000 worth of funding into his charity. Whether that's finally happened because of COVID, I don't know. I know that the tourism business that was going to provide it has had all sorts of problems, and I should imagine that the charity has also had all sorts of problems. But it's moving the conversation forward.
Thank you very much for that. That's a good insight. Another important thing we need to understand here is networking. You know, networking is very, very key, because we can't get, I mean, you just said about the block making machine, you know. If I have it or know someone that has it, and I do not know someone that needs it, if you know what I mean, it just gets rusty, and so we need to, you know, work with that, and it's very key. Yeah, all right, next question. Who is the person? Huguette, and we'll come back to Sister Faye as well.
I've got 3 questions from each panel. Don't worry, but it's a very short. I'll start with Mr. David Smith. You mentioned about, I think it's going line in line with what Mr. Bobby just advised about now. Just ask now about investing in Africa. We live in here, but we want opportunity in Africa. I think you answered that bit. But on your presentation, you mentioned about obstacles. You mentioned about challenges. And I think as young entrepreneurs that we are operating in the UK, some of us are overwhelmed when we face those kind of challenges. So you mentioned about challenges that you face. Let's say I would want, I'm an investor, I have a business plan, right? I've got right people to work, or I've got ideas, I've got things to bring back. Let's say, just for example, in DRC Congo or in South Africa. I'm just speaking as example. Now, those are the ideas that I bring on the table. That probably we need investors to find me with those projects. But here I come, I face challenges back home that I don't know. We stuck to a point A. A minister of this is sitting on it. He does not want to process this idea. So as you say, you know, there's a way for us to work those obstacles, what are those process or plans as your organization or as Baba has probably or has put in place for us to overcome those obstacles and to move into our project? Thank you.
That's an excellent question. I think what I would say is that it depends on the project. Now, we've just enjoyed a wonderful breakfast. If your business was to set up a restaurant, I would imagine that you have a few investors here who would provide some funding. Whether the minister would come and open it or whether the minister needs to approve it is a question. I don't know for your country whether that's the case. There is probably a hygiene office somewhere that needs to come and inspect and make sure that you're keeping the cockroaches at bay, but you're operating at a level that doesn't attract the big finger. Now, if you're going to do a multi-million-dollar project that requires a government approval, then you're going to come up to someone who's going to say, I can't sign this unless you do this or do that or do the other. Now, wearing your Union Jack, you have to be very careful. And one of the reasons why I don't have operations in Africa is because I don't fancy taking responsibility for the payments that get made that break the law here and give me the risk of ending up in jail. We have determined that we will have on some major projects an advisory board. And that advisory board will help us deal with the local customs. And therefore, they will deal with any issues that come up in the cultural practice of business in that particular area. But I would say if you were running that project here and there was any chance of that payment being made in your name, you would need to make sure it was set up properly. So as an advisory board, we would appoint Daisy, and she would sit on the board, and she would be rewarded for the advice and contribution that she would make over a period of time. And that changes the dynamic of the payment being requested into something that can be accepted in terms of straightforward business management. So we'd be looking at something like that. It could be that you have a local partner and they deal with local customs. One of our companies in Reading works on that basis. They have a local partner. The local partner deals with all the local issues. So there are ways of doing that. But if a minister decides that he's big enough and heavy enough to sit on your project to stop you doing it, I shouldn't vote for him again. And I think these are issues that Africa has to address. Difficult issues, because we're going to see in Nigeria over the next several months people who are buying and selling votes and scurrying around looking for favor. Yeah, huge amounts. But I was talking to a king the other day, and he said, no, this is a good time for us to ask for land. We're looking for land for a vocational college. The politicians are all going to be coming asking for contributions, and if they want my contribution, they will have to give me the land. So there are two edges to every sword, and I think you need to do the research, and I would question whether, despite the honesty of the question, it's the right question, because actually it perpetuates that issue. Concentrate on your own business. What do you need for that? You're setting up an accountancy business in your town to look after the books of the local small and medium-sized businesses. You have certain priorities that you have to comply with. You know what those are, and you can operate without big fingers coming into your business. By the time you've got 50 of those, you're the second largest accountancy business in DRC or in South Africa, and you've got a very substantial say in how things should be done. But we have to see small and medium-sized businesses build up and change the agenda for the politicians.
Thank you very much. So you have two other questions, yeah? Can we try and make it a little?
Yes, please. On Rehema, what's your take on repossession property or auction property? Should you, if you want to go into a property that it's been repossessed, or buying it from an auction? Just your point of view, please.
Thank you for that question. Again, it's very loaded. There's a whole courses, like 3-week courses on repossessed properties. Buying repossessed properties is lawful, it's fine, you can do it. But the laws are changing. So for example, I think the last time I did some work on it, which was a couple of years ago, the banks can actually come and take the property off you. You that bought it as repossessed, they can actually come and take it off you if certain criteria are fulfilled. But yes, repossessed property, some people's strategy is purely repossessed, and that's perfectly fine. Now, some repossessed properties, are you talking residential? Are you talking commercial properties? So some commercial, you have to go through the commercial rules and regulations in order to buy. But property on auction, that's a different topic. So there's repossessed properties and there's property on auction. Usually a repossessed property is sold on auction for 1 or 2 reasons. The first reason is the whole repossession process is so procrastinated that it can take 3 years to repossess a property. In that time, the asset holder, who's the bank, is not getting any money out of that. So, and like I said to you before, the normal buying process takes about 24 weeks. So not only have they've gone through 3 years, but another 6 months. So to get rid of all of that, they'll buy the property through auction. Auction, the whole transaction takes 28 days from when the hammer falls. You have to have bought that property. If you haven't bought the property, then they take it back. They don't give you a deposit back, but they take the property back. So auction is very quick, it's very good. It's good if you got money. It's good if you know what you are doing. And 90% of the people who buy property, 99% of people who buy property in auction do not know what they're doing, and they lose a lot of money. So if you're starting out, I would say if you're going to buy property from auction, you need a whole power team behind you that has got experience in buying property on auction. If you don't know what you're doing, if it's your first asset, don't do it.
And yeah, so that's it. Okay, let's be fast because we're
yes, please. For my digital marketing, we know like most of the people are not trained because of all those social media as you start as a business. So I just want you to give us just a key thing that you can do, regardless of which platform did we choose to go on, because there's people that are untrained. I was speaking about myself. I just know, go on the page, do this, start posting every day, or sometimes you forget about it. But what are those measures that we need to look into as a very startup business, and we want to advertise our small enterprise on those platforms, please?
Thank you very much. I think the answer to your question has been answered by Rema, which is seek knowledge. I think it's worth doing, because when I started as a digital marketer, I didn't go to any school to learn digital marketing. I started training myself. It was out of curiosity and self-interest to improve my own business that I became a digital marketing expert. So, and after that, I've done some certifications and all that just to rectify that point of being an expert to be able to advise other businesses. So if you're starting out as a business owner, you want to do social media, the first thing you need to do is to seek knowledge, at least basic knowledge, to allow you run that platform effectively and efficiently. Seek knowledge first. Then the second thing you need to do is to be consistent. You have to show up every time, like the example I made. If you have a corner shop that is not always there, you would not rely on them. So your customers are relying on you every time to, bring out new content, share new content with them every time. So that's the key. Learn, seek new knowledge, and be consistent on any platform you're using.
Thank you very much. Sister Faye has the last question. You have a question? Oh, last question, yes.
Okay, morning.
You have a question? Okay.
Sorry, I'm chancing you.
Sister Faye, go on.
Okay, so yeah, I'll go on. I want to say thank you, first of all, for your exposition on the auction. Yeah, it was a good one. Then I'm asking my question based on, I'm hiding behind asking a stupid question. Can I go ahead? Okay, I'm new in the country and I really do not know much about credit rating. I don't know what I need to do to start that, to be able to get into the property business, just like you have said.
Thank you very much. Before we answer that, let's take all the questions first. So Pastor Daisy has a question as well, and you have a last question.
Yeah, my question is for it's regarding, investment. You've been talking about investment and everything. I'm in the medical field. I'm not too much interested. It's not like I'm not interested, but I'm not too much into all these gas, all these things that you're talking about. If I'm going to do anything about investment, it's going to be kind of in the medical field. Okay? What have you got that is related to medical field that somebody can launch into in Africa, as you said? And the other question is, recently I tried to kind of get myself involved in looking for a charity organization back in Nigeria that works with people with MS, because I recently lost a friend. And before losing that friend, I was trying to kind of look for a charity organization that can help, or things like that can set something up to help people that are kind of in that category. But we looked with my friend's lawyer and everything, we could not find a single one in Nigeria that can help people like that. So what do you offer, or what can you do to help in that area? Because that is the only area that I think I'm interested in.
Thank you very much. We will put all these questions together. So we have one question. What's your question, please?
I want to ask one question to Rema. We know we have different kind of business. Which one is the best so we can introduce into a property to have our man back as soon as possible?
Okay. The final question.
Hi, I just want to know what your take is on, this is for every of the speakers, what your take is on crowdfunding for individuals and for businesses.
Thank you very much. So, Rema, you go first. Ladies first. Yeah, I know. Credit rating.
Credit rating, what is it? I'm trying to make it very fast. Maybe David can add a bit more. Credit rating is basically a measure of how reliable are you in managing other people's money. Okay? How reliable are you in managing other people's money? So effectively, you take a loan from me, we make an agreement, you're going to pay me back £50 a month over the next 6 years, and every month you pay back, and then month 40, you don't pay me. If you don't pay me, then this umbrella, this big brother called Experian or Credit Call, or there are three, so every time we make an agreement, we say you're going to pay me over the next 60 months. I registered that agreement with Big Brother, okay? So Big Brother is Experian, Credit Call, and the other one, which is Call Credit, can't remember. So a lot of us think when we make an agreement, with a bank or whoever, that the agreement stays between the two of us, which it does. But I then have a second layer that I need to report to, that I made this agreement with you. So every time you pay me every month and you fulfill that agreement, I report back and they tick. So yeah, she did. She paid back, she paid back, she paid back. when you default, that means that's the right term. When you default, if you don't pay me, I go back and say, she didn't pay me. Now then the following month you pay me, and we continue until the end of the loan. When you default, from the minute you default, this big brother flags you up for the next 6 years. Okay? So every time you default, the clock for 6 years starts ticking. So a lot of Africans, we default. I know this because I actually work in charity, and this is one of the problems that comes up. So, somebody says, yeah, I defaulted last month, but I finished the whole loan this month. I say, yes, but the 6 years started ticking from the day you defaulted. So even if you clear the loan, you still have to clear 6 years. So what you're telling Big Brother is that for the next 6 years, you now need to prove your worth, me lending you that money. So that Big Brother then reports to all the banks and all the mortgage lenders. Okay, so you come and you've had a clean record for 6 years, so the lenders will lend you the money. Okay, if you have a default, that means the lender won't lend you the money, or they will lend you the money at quite adverse terms. So, for example, at the moment the base rate is about, is it 1% yet? I was keeping an eye on it when it went to 0.75. I don't know if anybody knows what I mean by base rate. Yeah. Okay, so at the moment, the mortgages, average mortgage is about 3%, which is about 2.5% above the base rate, England base rate. So if you've defaulted, we'll lend you the money at 9%, at 10%, at 16%. That's the disadvantage. So your credit rating is basically a measure of how reliable you are at paying back your loans. So if you're new to the country, your credit rating will be terrible, will be 0, because we've got no record of you making a payment. You then need to spend time building up that credit rating. Minimum is usually about 2 years. You then need to go and get loans to prove that you can now reliably pay back the money. So you might get a loan of, say, 5,000, and you made an agreement to pay back £300 a month. You pay back £300 a month. If you pay back £250, you default. Okay? So that's how the credit rating works. If you're new in the country, usually this actually relates to Pata's question before. You may need to buy your house cash because the banks will not lend you. Okay? And there are certain rules around that. That's what I mean, it's a whole topic. There are certain rules about that if you then came in with cash, I think there was a Nigerian minister, ex-minister a few years back, she came with a bucket load of money and went to buy a house near where the Queen lives. She had the money, she had all the money, every last penny. She ended up in prison because we need to find out where that money came from. So it's a double-edged sword. So if you've got no credit, it's better for you to buy your house cash, but that cash, every penny has to be traced where you got it from. This is why all the Russians are running back, because the money now needs to be traced. So it's a process, but what I would say to you, step 1, get a loan, even if it's £300 loan, and start demonstrating that you can pay that money back. That means you start to build your credit rating. The other thing you must do is get on the electoral register. Yeah, that bit is very, 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 very important. Get a bank. Basically, how reliable are you at dealing with people's money? I know it's a very loaded question, and I'll leave it there. It doesn't matter what you agree to pay. It can be standing order. It's basically, have you fulfilled that agreement? That's what it's measuring. Okay. That's all it's measuring.
Okay, so a direct debit can work also from maybe my utilities, or it has to be
a loan. It's a loan. Okay. It's people's. A loan is somebody's money. If you're buying a house, the bank is going to loan you £100,000 to buy this house. Can you demonstrate to that bank that you are able to fulfill the requirements of paying them back that money? That's what they're measuring. So if you then say, so for example, I've had one of the problems I had with that property, I had loads of problems with it. I made sure I do not, whatever happened, I did not default on the loan. Everything else everything else can go haywire, but you do not default on the loan. Because if you default on the loan, the 6 years start ticking from that, and then it will be difficult for you to get, it will not be impossible, it will be difficult for you to get a decent mortgage after that. I hope that helps.
It does.
I don't know if Dave is going to answer the other question, but I just wanted to quickly answer the health question. There were 2 health questions about MS, a charity that works with people with MS. And you looked everywhere. My question was, where did you look? Because did you look on the charity? That's where you went wrong. You live in the UK, start with what David says, start with where you are. So that's perfectly fine. So you live in the UK, so start with the UK. I do work for charity as well. The Charity Commission has got thousands of charities registered. So did you go on the Charity Commission, put in multiple sclerosis, Nigeria? Hundreds of charities, I'm sure, will fall out. Or health, helping, hundreds of charities will fall out. I am very sure of that. And they will, in there, you will then start contacting them. They might not say specifically MS, but they will, they might be along there as that. Or put in MS, multiple sclerosis, in the Charity Commission. I'm sure charities that deal with MS will be interested in learning what you're going to do, because this is part of the link of BABA. You're going to link this charity to MS in Nigeria. That's the business in itself. So that is knowledge. We go back to the other speaker. You basically lack knowledge, you basically lack your network, and you didn't spread your wings out, which is what you're doing now. That's where you went wrong. The best business to have in terms of health, start with where you are. You are a nurse. Is there a nursing college? Can you do something with nursing? Can you online teaching? Can you do advanced clinical practitioner training online to the people in Nigeria? Zoom has made the boundaries a lot easier. So you could do 3 hours a week teaching people in Nigeria about nursing. I could go on that one forever. Which is the best business to have your money back? Certainly not property. I need to say that, because in property, if somebody's offering you more than 8% return per year, you've got a problem. And this is why we have repossessions. Okay? So property getting your money back is not that. Although there are strategies that people are doing slightly under the table, like rent to rent, and that's a loaded question. So where they are getting some money back. In fact, rent to rent, you don't need a lot of money to start with. Am I right? You don't need a lot of money to start with. £1,000 you could start, and then you can return your money back. It's a lot of legwork to do rent to rent. I couldn't do it. There's just too much legalities in it, too much headache in that for me. So I couldn't do that. What's my take on crowdfunding? Is that in property? Crowdfunding in property, it has happened, it can happen. Knowledge, get reading, and make sure you vetted the organization that you want to join crowdfunding. I have got a couple of friends that do purely crowdfunding. With crowdfunding, how it works is, it's 2 ways. One, you can either be the investor, as in you're going to the crowd platform to get the money to run your project. So if we were to buy the pub down the road, and we've done all our due diligence, and the architects has gone in, and everybody has, so this community could buy that pub using crowdfunding. So we write the story of what crowdfunding is about. The story. What is the story the community is trying to tell to these people? So this Hands of Hope approaches that pub, puts some money in, obviously. We get an architect on board, the council's on board, we write our story. We then put our story to the crowdfunding platform, and we say, we're seeking £300,000 to run this project. There's some videos there. This is where your digital marketing strategist comes in. And then the people say, you know what, we like that, and we will fund that project. So the money comes in. the crowdfunder platform holds the money. They hold that money until they have vetted the project. They might say, we only release that money in phases, maybe the first 40,000 and so on and so on and so on. And then that project will be funded. So crowdfunding can work, it has worked, and it works very well, but there's a lot of due diligence to do around that. The other way is that you could be the funder. So you could then put your £1,000 in that crowd and you say, you know what, all I want is my 8%. You fly back to Congo, wherever you are, and at the end of the year, you don't care what they do. You don't care what project is running. All you want is your 8% to come back to you, and it's up to the platform to get you back your money. So that's just a brief. Like I said to you, I could talk about property for 2 weeks non-stop, so I'll stop here. Thank you.
Let's start with health. There's a lady who lives just down the road who's a member of British African who runs a medical equipment business. And so, one of the options with health is looking at how the products and services that she provides could be used better in Nigeria. She's actually working on the development of a dialysis center in Nigeria. And I know that that's not going to be a singular investment. I'm working with a Zambian in Eastbourne who has decided he wants to put a diagnostic center into his town because there is no diagnostic center there. A lot of mining companies, a lot of people, but no diagnostics. So there are a number of different areas. We also have a group which calls itself BAME Healthcare, and they are actively looking at health initiatives into Africa all over the place. There is an East African group as well, run by a Ugandan friend of mine. And so it comes down to doing the research and finding these things out and looking at what you want to do. I personally would like to see someone set up a health fund, and in Nigeria I would look at what was required to put a diagnostic center within half a mile of every federal medical center, because that would change the diagnostic situation as far as all those people are concerned. Whether it's 6 or 8 machines or 10 machines, I mean, the Zambian is looking at an investment of around about $1 million to $1.5 million to do one center. But when you start saying doing 10 or 20, the costs of all those machines come down hugely because people normally buy them singly. So, it's a challenge. Happy to work with you on it. I loved your answer on the MS. I hadn't thought about that. I think it's great. But there is an organization called bond.org.uk, and it is a group of philanthropists, foundations, and charities working all over the world. And their membership are doing lots of things in lots of different ways, and that's another one that you can look at. Crowdfunding, I love. Look at Do It Now Now, which is a Nigerian crowdfunding thing run by a very dynamic young lady. There are a number of them. There's a VC for Africa, which has been running in the Netherlands for a number of years. And I think it's a good way of opening the doors. But actually we need people setting them up and doing them. We're looking at the software to have our own, it won't be crowdfunding, but it will be investor management system. So you come forward with your project, this is what it's going to take to invest in it, this is what you get, this is how it works. That goes on the site, then people can come in and say, oh, I'll have a bit of that. I think that that's something that the community needs to develop. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Can we put hands together for all the panelists? It's been an enlightening session, and I have, and I'm sure all of us have gained one thing or the other today. For those of us who want the slides, Please see Patrick and give him your email address. And they should see you. Oh, not Patrick. Oh, sorry, Patrick. Sorry. Yeah, that's the boss now. Yeah. All right. So you see Larry, wave your hand, So give him your email address, and he will send his slides to us. And if you still want to meet any of the partners later, you might just talk with them. Maybe you have access to them or join the group or something. It's been a wonderful thing. We really must appreciate Hands of Hope. Can we put our hands together for Hands of Hope for bringing this whole thing? It's really awesome. So thank you for bringing it together. I wish there were more people, but maybe subsequent ones will have more people. We invited, of course, more people, but maybe they're interested more into the Jubilee celebration. We don't know, but this is Jubilee anyway, so it is awesome. Thank you very much. In the absence of nothing, all right. Sorry.
Daisy, I've just done a multiple sclerosis search, Nigeria. I've come up with 1,817 matches.
That is awesome. Okay, so that's good. So good. So I don't understand the sign language. Sorry. Yeah, so 2 people are still going to come up. But anyway, it's more like an informal setting now, and all those things. So this is also time to network. If you're here with a business idea, you want to match up with somebody, you want to come together, feel free. Pastor says it's too big to accommodate and it's too small to know one another. So let's do that. Thank you very much. This is a time to network with people. And 2 people are called, Tolu and Toby, to come forward and quickly. And Esther, 3 people. Okay. Yes, speak about your businesses, and you just never can tell. Somebody might be a money bag here and say, I'm going to invest in this. All right? Thank you very much. Put your hands together for Tolu, the trio, Tolu, Esther, and Toby. That's a co in Manchester. Huh.
Thank you, everyone. So I just want to advertise my business. So it's a very new business. It's just 1 month old. So I need encouragement, please. So I'm a doctor by profession. I'm into mental health, specifically perinatal mental health. That means we deal with the mental health of women that are pregnant or 1 year postpartum. But then, on the side, I've had a flair for fashion and the good things of life for a long time, and naturally I just went towards this. So this is my business name, Eco in Manchester. So if anyone is from Nigeria, you know that Eco Market is the market where you get all sorts of things, all kind of fabrics. In short, not just fabrics, anything you want in this whole world is inside Eco. So that's where the name came from. So I do a lot of fabrics, any types of fabrics, Ankara, lace, adire, chiffon, crepe, which one again? Please help us. Any type, we do it. So we have some new stock here, just the Ankara here, but any type is actually available. I just brought Ankara since, I couldn't bring everything. So please, these are my flyers as well. So please, you can check it out. I have a WhatsApp. I think I'm very interested in you having one. So, okay. You already have a customer. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tolu, and I own a jewelry and hair line. Started out this year, jewelry of all kinds, because I noticed getting and sourcing jewelry to fit the African lady is really a problem. Our taste is different from the European taste, and getting the African taste to suit us has been an issue. And so what we do is bringing it here for your Owambe, like our parties, your work, your children. That's what we do. And then coming soon is the Tiwani Locks Closet hairline to sort out hair issues. You don't have to have a bad hair day anymore. Just reach out to me and we'll sort out your hair. Crochet braids, wigs, weaves, anything you want hair-wise, just give me a call. Everyone. Esther.
Okay. Hi, my name is Esther, and professionally I'm an accountant. Yes, I like money. On the side, I'm a fashion designer. I sew. Yes, you can see what I'm wearing. Yeah, so I sew not just female outfits, for male outfits, any kind of thing I can make it. So just tell me your design and I can bring it into reality for you. Thank you.
While you are networking, there's still drinks and foods. Yeah, there's still drinks and food, so feel free to serve yourself. Feel free to serve yourself, and thank you very much. On behalf of Hand of Hope, we want to say thank you, and thanks to Treasure House, thanks to Pastor Solomon.
still live.
Can you go? We are finished. Can you?
Yeah, I'll turn it off. Pass the mouse.